Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, and I'm here today with the LEGO DC Comics Superheroes Justice League vs. Bizarro League. This is a DVD combo set with a minifigure, only exclusive Batzarro, and this is ages 6 and up, as 4 pieces, was released in, I believe, 2015, if I remember correctly, and this retails at most for about $20 in the United States. I have picked up from Amazon a while ago, when the DVD came out, for a little less than that, and I think in most retailers you can actually find it for a little lower price. You can even find the DVD without the minifigure on its own for even a lower price, because the figure gives it some value. So we'll take a look at it today. I won't actually show you any footage from the film or any of the special features because of, well, obvious reasons of copyright and so on. So we're just going to have it on screen and talk about all of it. We are going to show the minifigure up close. I will open it up and show you all the contents. So on the top, everything opens up, and first thing out is our DVD itself. So there we have it, and inside of the DVD is just obviously the DVD, but also a few inserts for Lego Club and Legoland. Not really much to it, but there it is. And then the second part, I guess you could also open it up on the bottom. That way you can get to the Batzarro figure a little bit easier for those who purchase it. And there he is in its own plastic case. We'll take a look at the minifigure in just a moment, and we'll take a look at the DVD and all my thoughts about it afterward. So here's our up-close look at Batzarro. This is the Bizarro version, or opposite in DC form, version of Batman as we usually know him. He is part of the DVD itself as far as the main feature. And I was actually surprised to find out that not only is Bizarro, just an interesting opposite form of Superman, there is also a Batzarro, which is the opposite of Batman. But that not only does it exist on the DVD itself, and we'll talk a little bit more about it in just a bit, but he was actually featured in comics, same as Bizarro was, just at a later time. So, as far as the minifigure goes, I'll take a closer look here. He does have some interesting printing on him, mostly in pretty interesting color as well. And what I like about it is that the pants aren't printed, so you could use this for other minifigures if you want to give them a really cool purple look to them, or even the arms on them. I don't think he has back printing. I could be wrong about that. And yeah, he actually does have back printing on him. So very nice look on there. He also does have an alternate face on him, and just like Batman, he does have the white band around so that it matches up with the eyes. And here's a look underneath to get a look at that. Surprisingly, in the feature, well, first of all, as comic relief, he does have that as his standard appearance. But also in the feature, he actually does have his eyes showing through the cowl. So it's actually interesting that on the figure, they, just do it the traditional Batman way. So, looks pretty good. I also like the tattered cape on him as well, because that just adds another dimension of the, bizarreness of this figure. So, it's a pretty cool figure. I'd say it's good for getting him with the DVD. It's appropriate to have with the DVD. It's not the... it is a lot of people's main reason to get the DVD. Granted, it is a very collectible item. But I still think the DVD by itself is pretty good. So, we'll go to that right now. So for this segment, as I've done in previous DVD and figure combo kind of reviews, I have done them once or twice before. I don't really, again, have the footage that I can show on screen because it would be more complicated, it's copyrighted, and all that stuff. So we're just going to have the DVD case itself on there and the figure on screen, and I'll just talk over it with my thoughts. The main feature is about how Superman brings Bizarro to his own world to keep the destruction at a minimum in Metropolis. And as a result, Bizarro tries to find a way to be more of a superhero, because he's not necessarily a bad guy, although he was created by Lex Luthor with a duplicator ray. In the intent of being bad, in this movie's context, it says that Bizarro is just kind of confused about his morals, Like, he doesn't actually know how to be good, but he wants to be good, but he does wind up doing things that just, serve the bad guys. but not intentionally, you know what I mean? This movie actually makes it clear that the Bizarro characters throughout the movie are actually just like kind of a comic relief for a lot of them, while Bizarro is probably the more focused one of them. But basically, after that, Bizarro tries to take the duplicator ray from Lex Luthor. He turns the entire Justice League, except for Hawk. I want to say Hawkeye, but I know that's Marvel. Hawk, you know what I mean. He turns everyone except for him, and except for Aquaman, I guess, too, into the Bizarro versions of themselves. And what's interesting, I don't really know all the versions of Green Lantern. I'm most familiar with Hal Jordan, but I've also learned now there's Guy Gardner, which is the one featured in the DVD, and basically, yes. So we have Bizarro versions of Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Guy Gardner. And basically, like, they're not really doing bad stuff, but it's just, you know, Bizarro trying to find a way to have his own friends and be in his own world. But Darkseid, as you can see on the cover, is kind of behind all of the madness that's going on. He tries to take over the Bizarro world itself, which also was featured in comics before this movie, which is pretty cool to learn. And use all the weird... What was it called? It wasn't radioactive. It was weird active, as Cyborg called it. He tries to use all these crystals to power a laser that would change planet Earth and the moon into Bizarro worlds. So, okay, we got our villains set up. And yeah, the Darkseid is a villain is not exactly a secret reveal. I don't think it's really a spoiler, because they make it pretty obvious. He's a bad guy. But it's not like, oh, Bizarro is your main villain or anything like that. He's just kind of like an in-between neutral, you know, part of the scheme. So, as far as the movie goes, you know, all great actors. A lot of the similar voices we've heard from some of the Batman video games, from some of the other superhero DVDs. Mostly the same characters for all of it. I thought it was pretty interesting, like I said already a couple times in this video, to learn about the Bizarro universe. To learn about Guy Gardner as being one of the iterations of Green Lantern. And yes, I know there's a team of Green Lantern figures, but the one that's centered from Earth, you know, I didn't really know of Guy Gardner until this. And also, it was really nice to see Cyborg with the voice of Cyborg from the Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go TV show, which is something I actually like about a lot of these superhero DVDs, is that they have some of the more current DC TV lines voice actors incorporated into it, so that kids that are watching it can identify with it right away. It's not like a whole brand new actor or anything. Well, for the most part. I'll get to that in another DVD. So, as far as this one goes, it's actually pretty cool. A lot of good stuff happens. You actually do get a lot more villains here and there, just kind of in between stuff, but not really centered in the movie. Mostly everything you see on the cover is the main focus. The humor is pretty good in it, between, you know, each of the superheroes and the Bizarro heroes. I do like how they're interacted with each other. Even Batzarro, like, he's claimed to be the world's worst detective, and, you know, Batman has this elaborate scientific plan to stop Darkseid, and Batzarro just comes in and is just like, let's just all take a nap. Which actually, not a bad idea either. So, there's also, I think on the back of the DVD, it also shows Giganta? I'm gonna get that wrong. Somebody's gonna correct me in the comments. But there's also a couple special features that are added on to this. It's a relatively shorter run for the main feature, only 49 minutes, so it backs it up with a couple more stuff. They have a behind the scenes where, as I mentioned, they talk about the Bizarro world in the comic books. They talk about mostly Bizarro Superman, you know. They don't really talk about Batzarro. I had to look that one up separately. And they give a little bit more information about how they worked between DC Comics writers and Lego itself to form this. And because the Bizarro versions of characters seems like a logical, you know, choice. you know, to have this opposite of everyone, kind of like an evil twin, but not quite, because they're not as evil. But, you know, making characters for Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern as Bizarro versions, for what I've researched, albeit a little bit low on research, but I did try to look it up, and I couldn't really find anything as far as them existing in comics already. So it is nice that they bring a couple new things to the table for DC fans. Yes, it is a bit more on the kids' side, as most of the DVDs are, but like I said, it's, you know, it's something that kids will pick up more, they'll relate to, it's a target audience, yada yada. Special features. They do have a special feature in here called Beleaguered, and it actually shows how Batman gets integrated into the Justice League for the Lego Justice League. But it's kind of hard to watch that after watching Bizarro League, because it's like, it's not that it really crosses over that much and like you're missing information or anything, but it just makes it a little bit more sense of how Batman is suspicious of Superman and how he's kind of mistrusting of the Justice League, and, you know, like, watch Beleaguered and then watch the main feature. It just makes it a little bit more sense. It's like a chronology to it. Even with the other DVDs, it kind of works a little bit better if you watch Beleaguered first. And you've probably seen it on TV before, which I have. And it's not bad to add into the DVD here, though. The other feature about the League of Opposites is basically what I mentioned about the Batzarro and comics and Lego and working those together. The Beleaguered bloopers are charming, but it's pretty much just the, I'm gonna get this wrong, because there are multiple Robins. I think it's Team Drake. It's the short one that was from the Steamroller set. Let's just call it that, so nobody gets mad. It's that version of Robin that just goes around pranking all of the superheroes and some of the supervillains in the movie. So, it's a good time. It's a nice little DVD to pick up, you know, very cool figure to collect for DC fans, and like I said, it's not something that's been expressed a lot in the comics, but it has showed up before, and it is a pretty cool looking version of Batman just to add into a Bat collection. So I'm actually curious if they would ever do more in the DC comics for any other Bizarro characters, like the ones they showed throughout the DVD. I mean, they've opened that possibility that, yes, you can have more than just Superman or Batman as Bizarro figures. Or characters, I should say. So maybe there could be other Bizarro things in the DC world. And I actually do like how, I don't really know much about Darkseid, but I really got the impression that, like, he was a force to be reckoned with. There were other couple characters, minor characters, that were working with Darkseid, and I'm just curious to know more about them, but I could do comic research elsewhere and probably be very confused. So, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up this DVD. What did you think about all the little things that were incorporated into the DVD? Do you like the Batzarro figure itself? I'm sorry if I didn't get a little bit closer. No, just, you know, trying to work out the camera and lighting and everything, but it's all good. So, we'll see you next time with more LEGO reviews, as well as DVD reviews. And I've done plenty of superhero stuff, DC and Marvel, on the channel before. You can check those out on a playlist on the channel. At some point soon, I'm hoping that I could do some kind of superhero collect-a-thon, because I'm getting my superhero-ness really kicking into gear. So, we'll see how that all goes later on. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you later with more LEGO videos.